My brother and I closely resemble each other. In a quick glance, we may even be mistaken for each other. Many people have commented that we talk the same, make similar jokes, the same mannerisms, etc. In this way, we are like any other siblings close in age, who come from the same environment, and who further dilute this division of personal identity by absorbing each other's ideas, convictions, values, and beliefs. Yet despite all these apparent similarities, I am retreating from any challenging philosophical inquiry into the issue of personal identity, and instead have invited my brother simply to demonstrate a stupid psychological game that I happen to fancy. I think you will fancy it as well. So prepare yourself one piece of paper and one pen, and that's all you need to play this stupid psychological game. Hello. We're here today to play a simple psychological game. My name is Andrew Friedman. This is my brother, Aaron Friedman. Hello, Friedman.
Hello, Friedman.
So, without further ado, let's launch right in. Now, Aaron, this is your first time taking this game, is that correct?
This is the first time that I am taking this test.
Actually, this is not the first time he's taking this test.
Sorry.
This is.
So good.
So I mean, how do you want me to just respond to this though?
We'll respond to it later.
No, I mean the actual command. You know, I mean, do you want me to just?
But this is how the game works. On that piece of paper that you have, make 2 rows and 3 columns so that you have 6 squares. Now number each of these squares. In each of these squares, an object or thing will be given, and you have to write the first 3 impressions that come to mind. Now, these impressions are like emotional reactions. They can't be physical attributes, just the impression that you have. The first 3 squares are the first animal that comes to mind. Square 4 is the sea or the ocean. Square 5, a wall. And square 6, a cup. Now that you've finished writing down your impressions, let me explain to you what each of these squares really means. The first animal is what you think of yourself.
Okay.
So what did you have?
I had tiger, power, virility,
Virility.
majesty.
I see. And do you think that fits you?
I think that it would be a favorable impression of me, yes.
Well, it's fascinating because I also had something equally ridiculous and obnoxious. I had rhinoceros, and I had strong, sexy, and aloof.
You think a rhinoceros is sexy?
It was just what came to mind. I guess, well, yes, I guess I do. I mean, it is sexy. The second square is what you think, or rather, what other people think of you.
I see. Well, I had duck,
Okay.
fatty tuna, awkward, loved by all.
Fatty tuna?
Yeah.
Care to elaborate? Okay.
It's kind of in the way.
Okay, I see.
Fatty.
That's what fatty tuna means.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I also had an awkward animal. Giraffe, I had for what other people think of me. And I said slow, limited, and weary.
Yeah.
So that
I
might
guess
be
we're both very awkward
troubling.
people.
Maybe that's true. The third animal, the third square, is what you think other people think of you. Not In the second square, it's what they actually think of you, but in the third square, it's what you think they think about you.
Mm-hmm. Well, I had bearded dragon, which I associated with being pensive, aloof, and strange.
Strange.
Yeah. It's got all these horns and
Do other people...
lizard beard.
Do you think other people think you're strange?
Sad to say that, yes,
Well,
I do.
You should. You should. For mine, I had the monkey. A monkey.
I'm just going to cut you off there. I hate monkeys.
Well, that pretty much sums up what I had. The last three kind of move beyond the conception of the self and move to more abstract ideas. The sea is a representation of life. And what were your impressions then in that regard?
The sea. Profound, terrible, boundless.
Boundless. Well, that's interesting because I had, for one of mine, as for life and the sea, bountiful.
Boundless.
Bountiful.
Boundless.
I also had mysterious and inhuman.
Inhuman?
Yes, inhuman, which maybe is a bit like terrible.
Terribly inhuman.
It doesn't fit for a human life to live.
It's hard to live.
The fifth square, the wall, is supposed to be a representation of death. And what would your reaction?
Well, that's really interesting because I know that you are terrified
Yes.
more than anyone I know of death.
I think it's the thing I fear above all else, dying.
Whereas I'm actually quite comfortable with death.
So what did you have?
The way is shut, the path to follow, an upright friend.
Kind of you had a little haiku there, huh?
I wax poetic. Interesting.
The last square, 6, the cup is a stand-in for sex.
Sex.
Yeah.
Sexy.
Sexuality.
Sexuality. Sessy.
Very sexy. So what were your impressions?
I had relaxation, respite,
Could be nice.
warmth.
Why not? Nothing wrong with that. I had something kind of similar. Refreshing, comfort, comfortable, and homey, which is a little curious.
Homey.
Yeah. Like like the comfort that you have while at home,
So both of our attitudes about sex are just like hanging around in our bathroom.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, it's kind of like Hugh Hefner, maybe.
Huh.
Maybe not though. As I anticipated, you probably don't find this psychologically relevant, which you shouldn't.
think it's sort of absurd.
I think every time you play this game, you'd probably give a different answer, right? So for someone to actually look at this game and think that it's like peering into their own mind, it's ridiculous. But what I think is interesting about this game is just the process of making associations, And in this film, we're going to do that a little bit visually and with audio, but also in your head when you're playing the game, you're creating associations to things that later, when the meaning of the game is revealed, you have to either accept or deny those associations. So there's kind of this interesting tension of the sort of the result of associations, which I really like.
First, we're forced to give our answers free associations that essentially have no meaning. But then afterwards, we have to own those things because we ourselves said them. So we either have to accept or reject some awkward thing that we accidentally said about ourselves.
Oh, personal things too.
Yeah, very personal.
Yes.
Your weird fetish about sex. For
My
example.
weird rhinoceros.
Yes.
Fixation. Although this is not a film about personal identity, we do seem to be in a strange situation. Right now, we are being filmed, and so in a way, we are kind of play acting as ourselves. But in trying to portray ourselves, which version are we attempting to project? Is it a negotiation between the first and third square? Between what we really think of ourselves and what other people think of us? Or when I feel nervous or unsure of myself, do I take on more of your persona because you fill the role of the older brother and thus the more well-tested version of myself? Or do you take on some of my qualities in this context, considering that this is my film and I control the tone and I'm controlling the environment?
Have you ever gotten it on with a cup?
I wanted to after this game.
Yeah, you get it to a nice lukewarm temperature, you know?
Yeah.
Fill it with some cream.
Could be nice.
Yeah.
Anyway,
There's a certain culture, actually, that prizes romantic, intimate relationships with a cup.
Which culture?
I don't remember which one, but I'm
Okay.
sure it exists.
Yeah, some culture. Okay.
Yeah, they fill it with warm liquids.
Don't.
It's true. There's a lot of things out there in the world.
I'm
Don't
sure
be so
there's-
anthropomorphic.
As you said about the world, about life.
Don't be so ethnocentric. There are a lot of different ways to enjoy life that may
you're
not
right.
fit within your
You're right.
Western.
But anyway,
value
so this
schema.
is the game.
In the game, there are winners and losers.
We are the losers.